Gators and Bossellini, Hannibal, Blizzard, this party, Red Man, the Red Tsunami, Red Creeks and Red Ferrari, Red Clay, will hide your bodies, medical, they ask somebody, bless, they call me Mr. Manifest, you fellas screaming out the chest, I got this technique better, I found my destination to a red light, rock your soul to the daylight, hot jump going crazy, right, Mazzy going crazy, right up, man, fight, I'm purple hazy through the night, I'm thinking chili out of spite, I'm making suki for the slice, I'm speaking Alabama cream, I'm South going through the streets. I pop got raiders on the tape. Koozie Kings outrageous. Koosa, Koosa. I'm talking, they call me Nico Tussanui. Punk a flame like a dude. In the field, such a core. And I got something funny. Good evening. Tonight we're talking about something that's shaking the very foundation of what we've been taught, something that's making folks uncomfortable. I know it. I've experienced it in my own life. When I tell people about the fact that 12.5 million Africans, of the 12.5 million Africans transported in the transatlantic slave trade, 4 to 6% came to North America. And when I explain that to people and tell them what it means, you'd be surprised at the cognitive dissonance, because it challenges everything that we've ever heard. We'd like to think that we were from Africa. We've been following Dr. Ben, Sheikh Anta Diop, Tony Browder, Runoko Rashidi, J.A. Rogers, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey. And that has its place. I don't think because one is a Pan-Africanist that you can't also explore your own indigeneity. But this is the thing that's interesting. Most of us understand that melanated people were the first on the planet. And if that's the case, if we were indigenous in Australia, outside of Africa, if we were, the first Europeans, then we were the first Americans too, right? Why wouldn't we be? So be that as it may, and take from it what you will, but that's what we explore on the show. Tonight, we had some specifics that we wanted to get into. But yes, that's the question. What if everything you were told about where you come from was a complete lie? What if the story did not start in 1619? Now, we know it didn't start in 1619. I done told you that in my book. Started in 1525, at least in 1525. A Spanish planter had brought some people here. They beat him up and took his boat. Bottom line, he got. And they ran off into the Gullah Islands. That's my understanding, long before the 1619 date. And I understand that's a date that people agree on based on American records, but we're talking about the real truth. And so the British were late, but the Spanish were here first. And so there's the she connection, XI, she. For those just joining us, the she represents the oldest bloodlines on this land. We're talking about the foundation, the Olmec civilizations, the Mayans, the ancient ones who built pyramids, who studied the stars, who created systems so advanced that scholars today still can't fully explain them. And I tell you, the most hurtful thing is when you show people the pyramids in Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and you show them the dates, 2600 BCE, just as old as the oldest in Egypt, Djoser. It's like, how can that be? Because then that makes you ask the question, were the pyramids just in Africa? No, the pyramids were here in the Americas too. It raises the question, who did it first? And it also raises the question, what was the connection between Mexico and Egypt? Or if there was one. But when you look at the pyramids, you're like, well, the ones in Mexico, they all got the flat top at the top. And the pyramids in Africa and Nubia and Egypt, they are pointed at the top. But nonetheless, they still are in the same alignment, following the stars, the solar system, the whole astrology and charts and astrological and astronomical, all of that stuff, astronomy, all of that pulled together. So here's where we are. Aboriginal Rights Native American. They're saying that all our groups, the so-called different people scattered across the hemisphere, were all variations of the same ancient family. The she bloodline didn't disappear. It spread, it migrated, it evolved into Choctaw, the Seminole, the Blackfoot, the Apache, the Lumbee, and yes, into what they now call African Americans. Think about it. Why do we keep popping back up? Like those plantains, those dandelions, those herbs that won't die no matter how much they try to cut us down, because we're indigenous to this soil. This is our land. This is a story our grandmothers told us. This is our inheritance. This is our birthright. Now, I know what I'm saying. You might be thinking, but Donnie, they told us we came from Africa. Listen, I'm not saying there wasn't a slave trade. I'm not saying that hard did not happen. It did, in fact, happen. What I am saying is that the story is deeper, older, and more complex than what they have been putting in American textbooks. ARNA. Let me go back and give you the definition of that. Aboriginal Rights Native Americans use genealogical research and biometric DNA testing science family to prove that our bloodlines connect to these lands, not just for the last 400 years, but for thousands, as Horace often says, millions of years. If you listen to what they're finding in the Grand Canyon, then they're trying to keep it quiet. Smithsonian. This is why we don't want us. That's why people don't want us doing our own research, because they'll throw up the federal fences and federal recognition and the red tape, and you can't take pictures of this. But if we remember who we are, if we prove we're aboriginal to this land, then we're not asking for civil rights. We're asserting our indigenous rights. Tonight we have with us Brother Hannibal. You there, Hannibal?
How you doing?
Good evening, big brother.
Yeah, I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I heard you say something about the story began before 1619, 1520.
1525 is what I originally came up with in my second book, I Am Black Wall Street.
Yeah, the native name was Francisco de Chicora, and they got like 600 slaves off the coast of Africa somewhere, and they escaped in the PD rivers. So
was he Spanish?
The Spanish came and got him. I think it was let me make sure who it was who came and got him. I think it was A. Leon or Vasquez. Francisco Vasquez is the one who got him.
In my book, I write about what was his name? Little Stephen, Little Esteban.
Okay.
He was a Spanish conquistador, and my God, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of the first Black conquistador that came to Florida.
You know, that's what a lot
Juan
of people.
Garrido. Juan Garrido.
Garrido.
Juan Garrido. Garrido. Juan Garrido.
A lot of people don't understand that it was Black conquistadors and Morenos or mixed ones as well. So the game is not as simple as we think. You know what happened, but you know,
quite often it was our own kind causing the problem.
Right. But that's they got some paintings over there. Let me see, could I find that painting when they took him back over to, I think it was Spain, and he told Isabel and Ferdinand about the vast lands of this North America, and they came and they stopped in Africa to get 600 slaves and came to the PD River where they escaped. So, you know, that's when they escaped through the PD River, they must have came with the Miccosukis and the Yamasees that was over there. You get what I mean? So there must be some type of intermingling there.
I got a picture of Juan Garrido for you.
Okay.
How your past couple of days been?
Oh man, it's been awesome. I got a lot of knowledge in, you know, got a lot of clarity of what's going on. And, you know, I've been learning a lot more on the spiritual aspect of the Muskogee and a lot of the native tribes as well. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a guy named James Adair? He wrote a book in 1775 on what he thought about the Muskogee speaking Chickasaws. And that's a good read for our audience. He made 23 points, and he got to talking about the Semitic nature of the Muskogee. You get what I mean? So he got to talking about the ceremonies and the names like Isakita and names like Yohiwa and stuff like that when they was doing their green dance ceremonies. And he's got to talking about them saying hallelujah and stuff like this. This is back in 1775. So, you know, this history here is complex and multifaceted. You know, when you talk about the Spanish, you is talking about Sephardic, Moors, and Morenos. You get what I mean? So it's feasible. You get what I mean?
Can you put any of those names in the chat so people can have them to research?
Oh, yes, sir, I can do that. Okay.
Sweden says cold in Oklahoma City, 31 degrees. You know, I noticed it's been a mean cold lately. It's been a sneaky cold, just like the kind of cold that sneak up on you. And next thing you know, it's like, wow. Okay, Hannibal James, there you go. Francisco de Chicora.
Yes, sir. And I think the name of the mission was Santa. It was a Spanish mission there too, but I know it's another one called Santa Catalina de Africa.
You're saying PD River. Okay. I didn't know what you were saying. Okay, PD River. I got you.
So you got a group of natives down there called the PD Indians, and they're a mixture of Indian tribes. So you got the Beaver Creek Indians down there, like the Chavez family that's down there. You got the Cheru. That's a Siouan tribe. You got some Algonquin tribes. You got Muskogee there. So it was a meeting place after they got to fleeing down there. Yep, and it's a couple more things I'll share in the chat as well. But these guys here, it wasn't as nice as people think. They captured a lot of people, especially if you look at that. What's that? 1540 DeSoto expedition through Georgia and Alabama. That expedition is important to me because he came to where my family is at. And, you know, and a lot of them guys came and captured a lot of the chiefs, and, you know what I'm saying, it was a mess. Really, it was a all out mess down there. You know, they came
A
with
lot of people don't know that Florida has so much Black history, man. So much Black history, so much. I mean, when you really think about it, that was the entry point into the Americas. Florida, coming out of the Caribbean, Florida.
Right. That's what.
Matter of fact, it was originally called La Florida, if I'm not mistaken. La Florida. And like y'all said in previous shows, it extended all the way to Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Well, of course, that would include some of Louisiana. We also know that when the Louisiana Purchase happened, America expanded another 2/3 to the rest of the country. Up until that point, America was just the East Coast.
So that's a mission they call Santa Catalina de Africa down there in Florida. That's prior to, that's around the time these expeditions was going on. So, you know, when you search that word, that last, you see how they spell Africa, Afuyca. You know, they gonna go around the corner, but if you keep on searching, you'll see the meaning of it. You know?
All right, I got some Florida history for you. You know who this is?
Who is that, sir?
You ever watch Black Sails?
You know, I heard of that, but I never paid attention.
Oh my God, Black Sails, man. I love that series. I'm looking for a new TV series because I done watched just about every damn thing. I need a new TV series. But Black Sails was about pirates. It was about pirates. Now, this is why we have to become our own narrators. This is why we need more, and I'm all for mentoring any new journalist, radio, television, print, what have you. This is why we need our own people telling our story, because if we listen, thank you, Engine Radio, if we listen to other people, they don't even know the whole damn story themselves. So here's the skinny. Think about it. The Moors dominated Spain for 800 years. The Moors dominated Spain for 800 years. Let me take that down. Let Planet show his face. Hey, Planet.
Hey, now. How's everybody?
The Moors dominated Spain for 800 years. And as their time was ending, that's when Christopher Columbus went and did the pimping for Portugal and Spain. He was representing both Spain and Portugal. He was really playing them against each other, double dipping. He tell one, he representing them. They play funny with the money. He go tell the other one, he gonna represent them. So he got Spanish and Portuguese money. But at that point, they had chased the last Moor out of Spain. So these are like some kids who finally got the house to themselves. The adults have left. And so they were like on a mission. If I'm not mistaken, they were chasing Moors out of there, Moors hightailing it to wherever they could go. And I would figure the Americas were a no-brainer. But in all of that, what I'm getting to is that we control ships. Columbus had a Moor tour guide, Pedro Nino Alonso. So they had been riding there, been riding the Atlantic. The European was the only one who didn't know about this. They were the lost ones. They were the newbies. They're the new race, the babies. So who do you think the pirates were?
Moors, evidently, right? You know, you got to think about.
See, we get Hollywood telling us about Johnny Depp and the Pirates of the Caribbean. When you think about it, the pirates probably were melanated people.
Yep.
But anyway, this guy in the picture is Black Caesar. And to my knowledge, because that's the name of my book, my second book, I Am Black Wall Street. To my knowledge, Black Caesar in Florida was the first black millionaire. When they caught him, he had about $6 million in gold. They hung him in Virginia. But the movie Black Sails goes deep into the pirate culture. And I'm trying to tell you that black people, melanated people, whatever you want to call us, were prominent. That's our neck of the woods.
Right. But that
The
was all government
Caribbean.
sanctioned too.
Come
right?
on, man.
It was government sanctioned. Like England sanctioned their people to pirate Spanish ships because the Spanish had some type of market over the salt over there. You get what I mean? And the English sanctioned ships to pirate them down on this side of the world. You get what I mean? So it was a mess. You know, when we dive deeper, they wanted just as simple as some colonizers coming here, finding natives
and it damn sure wasn't that Chicken George story and Toby and Kunta Kinte. Yes, you know, you go, come on. It's so much more to us.
Right, they leave out the Native American part, the indigenous part. They had industries too. They was trading too. You had trading posts. What about these trading posts here? And these families that's quote unquote traders that, you get what I mean, that traded amongst them, that traded beaver skins and weapons and porcelain and forks, knives, whatever, clothes, textiles. You get what I mean? It was a lot of things that was being traded. Now, what about these people? When you find out about these people, you'll see that it was more complex. You had the natives, the indigenous fighting each other. They was on the Spanish side, they was on the French side, they was on the English side, they was on the pirate side.
See, that's divide and conquer. I come into your community, I tell people on the east side of your town that you don't like them, that you talked about their mother, and I give them some heroin. I go to the other side of town, get them some cocaine and some guns and tell them they called all your mother's names and blah, blah, blah. Divide and conquer. Real simple.
Well, simple plan. But the thing is it wasn't an overnight thing. People lived amongst people. And it was a lot of things. You know, people sold out people. People sold out people that they even never thought this would happen. You know what I mean? Blood relatives.
Especially when you're talking about money and sex. Money and sex make people change.
Right.
Don't it?
All the time.
Politicians, sex or money, every time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This being on the bus says, and the pirates provided rum, and I believe he's saying that our people are very addicted to. And that makes me think of right now, in this country, fentanyl is taking people out. Carfentanil, which is 100 times stronger than fentanyl, used to sedate elephants. People are using that. They're mixing that up out here. And then they got a thing called nitazene, which is so bad that one Narcan won't bring you back. They got to hit you with more than one Narcan. What I'm getting to is that addiction has been used to take over not just communities, but countries. The British, through the Opium Wars, tell them planet, controlled Hong Kong for 150 years.
Absolutely.
That's wild. Right. I think, you know, that statement about the rum, they say that the what indigenous group was up there in New York and that they sold New York for some rum. Something like that. They didn't understand what was going on, so they kind of tricked them into selling New York.
Because they didn't understand the concept of selling and land and owning land. I understand that part pretty well. They did not. They had no concept that you could sell land. That wasn't. It didn't fit into their universe.
Yeah, but
so
you know
European concept.
I was just about to add on to that. It was the European, but it's also the European mixed breeds that lived amongst them, that was trying to trade and barter and levy their position into the system. You get what I mean?
It was a free for all for them.
Right.
They come in here, they seeing, you know, beautiful land of milk and honey. We can do our thing. And let's not forget, a lot of the British were criminals.
The majority of their people were criminals. You know, whether it was
They were outcasts. Get the hell out.
Right.
Instead of doing this 20 years, you can go it over there to America and try your hand. Settle the land for the king.
Right.
For the king.
Right.
And send them taxes back here. Don't make me come over there and bust you.
Yeah, that's everything was for the king back then. Even you
To
copulating
the west
half
side of
year.
Louisiana. Thank you, Engine Radio. La Florida went all the way to the west side of Louisiana. Once America bought the Louisiana Purchase, that was the other 2/3 of the country. Before that, America owned the East Coast.
Yeah.
Colonized the East Coast. Let's call it what it is. What's the opposite of colonizers?
The opposite of colonizers.
In American lexicon, is terrorists. You don't get it?
Boston Tea Party, huh?
America is a colonizer. America was colonized, and now America colonized. Great Britain, huge colonizer. Before them, the Ottoman Turks colonized. The British probably the best that ever done it, though.
Yeah, they still doing it in a sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they lie and they steal. That's what they do. That's what they manufacture: lies and they steal.
Yeah, but they
And
know how to divide
pretty good killers too.
Yeah, they know how to divide and conquer pretty well, even divide us. You know what I mean?
You figure a little country like Great Britain dominated China at one point.
Sure.
They own Hong Kong.
And India.
Yeah.
And India.
Yeah.
And the Indians come over here, not all Indians. Some of them Indians come over here with this condescending attitude, like they the king of America, walking down the street. Like they don't see, like you invisible.
Like everybody got their own, you know, they say that.
Like you supposed to get out their damn way coming down the street invisible.
They say that when a lot of people come into the country, they fed a lot of rhetoric about us and how we behave.
Right.
So to straight
You're
away.
Americans.
Yeah. No. So they got a lot of
And
propaganda.
don't forget, India got the caste system.
Oh, yeah.
Got the untouchables. You know who the untouchables are in India? And then a cat blacker than me and you gonna come over here and get prejudiced. You're like, what kind of crap you on, bruh?
Wow.
That's what the European has done to these people before they even get to meet us. That's what the European has done to the African in many instances before they even get to meet us.
When they fill out their passport, their visa, they get
Almost
the
like
download.
they get the cliff notes that when you come to America, at least you're above the quote unquote African American.
Right.
Until they have their reality check, and they all get one. Sooner or later, they get one. You go into somebody's home, you should be respectful. You should give respect. I don't care who you are, where you are. You go into somebody's home, give respect. That's universal. You don't go into their home and they give them blankets with smallpox.
Yeah. That's dirty. That was a dirty deed right there. But then it took.
And then all the land that was stolen from us, man. Columbus words, ninguno no son prieto negros, no, ni son blancos sino del color de los canarios. Translation, none are Negro, black, but instead the color of the Canaries, Spanish of Canary Islands. Beat Active 8075. Thank you, Beat Active. Some great comments tonight. I've seen almost all races say that they were taught to be around us, that we were all bad. Yeah. Keep on listening to, they go back to the playground.
Right.
If you my friend, you can't be their friend. You remember that?
Yeah.
We can't be you can't be their friend if you're gonna be my friend. We are adults here. Come on now.
Yeah. But it's
Come
like,
on.
you don't think like me, we cancel you, you know what I'm saying? Same aspect, you know. Don't be around that person because I don't like them, you know. You right.
Hair was not crispy, kinky, woolly, afro, nappy, instead straight hair and thick like silk's horsehair. Beat Active is on a roll. He's rolling.
I don't think that's absolutely correct. Could you source that information right there?
Beat Active, can you give us a source where you pulling it from? Engine Radio, Misha, I know cilantro or coriander, which is grounded cilantro seeds and corn. Those been part of our culture since olden days. I don't know about no grasshoppers. But we cooking tonight, Planet. Planet, what you been up to, man? Hey, look, big ups to Mafia. We heard from our boy, man. I was so glad to hear from him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I've been good. Everything's been good.
Family is good?
Yeah. Everybody's had a good Christmas or whatever.
Yeah. We got this new year coming in the next couple of days, fellas. What y'all thinking? Well, the so-called new year.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be starting it off on January 3rd with the Black Wall Street New Year Summit here in Baltimore. Starting the new year off straight into business. And then January 6th, we're doing Politics 26, our first political event of the year. Election is in June, so it's going to be a 6-month race. And it's my time of, it's my season. Every 4 years, there's an election for the city and for the state, not always on the same year. So it's going to be an active year. Then school, can't forget school. And if you're thinking about going back to school, stop thinking, just do it. I did it, I'm doing it now, you can do it. That's it.
I did it. I graduated 2016 with my degree in construction management. I'm thinking about going back and get a master's, you know. I think I will one of these days. Who is this?
B Queen said black women want to be white. That's why they wear their wigs. You know, you can't necessarily say that.
Yeah, the history.
Now, I tell you what does get me, and I'd love to get a shrink on it. And I'm not at all. We just have the conversation, so ladies, don't take this the wrong way. What gets me is when I see our sisters just doing that long hair thing, and it's like, I wonder what's going through the mind. Because in America, a lot of melanated people got bushy hair. Some of us got straight hair. And nothing's wrong with straight hair. But I just wonder, what does it say when we stroking a damn horse's hair all day? It doesn't say I'm not beautiful if I don't have it. That's really my question. And of course, I don't expect you to know you ain't women, but ladies, you are beautiful without it. We love you just the way you are.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to look like you. Every movie I watch, no joke. Every movie, and I mean a well-made movie, the white people in it, I often see, are darker than they are in person. And I wonder, why do they do that cinematic trick? Why do white people want to look darker on the silver screen? Just look like who you are. You ever wonder that? Like, you don't like us. You hate us. You hate us for our blackness. You hate us for our swag, for our style, for our flair, our rhythm, our music, our culture. I get it. We got what you don't get. I got it. But why you want to look like me? I don't get that part. If I don't like you, I don't want to emulate anything about you. I want to get deep into my culture. And then there are others, like when I think of Judaism and the Hebrews and the Phoenicians in Ethiopia. When the Hebrews left Egypt, they were black. When they came back, they were not black. And we know you cannot lose your color.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also going back to the wig situation, wigs been going on since antiquity, right?
So has laziness and trifling people.
True, but we're
Some
not
people got a
equating.
reason to wear it, but some people, you know, let's be honest, some people lazy. Come on. Monique told him you wearing that thing in public that your grandmother wouldn't wear. I said it. I agree with Monique.
Is B Queen a guy or a woman? That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate to even talk about that. I think women should do what women do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So how your day been today, Planet?
Good.
Good day.
Just yeah.
Yeah,
Keeping everything, you know, the after Christmas game, you know.
yes, sir. So we've been talking about things that we normally people don't just know about that occurred in history that's not taught. You get what I mean? We talked earlier about Francisco de Chicora and them kidnapping him and bringing him back here. He escaping in the PD River with some African slaves there. We talked about Juan Guerrero, the Spanish conquistador, the first one to come into Florida. We talked about, we ain't mentioned too much about Esteban. I talked about DeSoto and his group of conquistadors coming down into Alabama and Georgia. And we trying to show everybody that this is not a straightforward situation. There's a lot of pivots, and I think we're doing a good job by studying the Spanish. You mentioned that, studying the Spanish, and because when we study them, they kind of tell some truths that the other ones don't tell. You get what I mean?
Right.
The meaning, the English and the French and the others. You know, could you expound on what you were saying before about the Spanish?
Well, you know, two things to remember is that, you know, when we're studying the history, and we think about what we were erased, right? The erasure is in every section of life. So there's a erase from being conquistadors. They're erased from, you know, being part of the elite. They're erased from everything, not just the culture that they came upon, right? So, you know, this hijack of history is very, very deep and very, very complex. You know, one of the major players in America, of course, was the Spanish.
Yes, sir.
Right. So when you go, you know, I've been able to travel in South America and this, that, and the other, and you know, people speak Spanish.
Right.
You know, so much so, or in Mexico, so much so that you think one thinks that was their native language. No.
Yes, sir. Right. Even here, you know, most people like, you know, if you ain't speaking English, go home. America don't have an official language.
Correct.
There's no official language here. You know, so
Correct.
And like you said, the Spanish conquered a lot of places, you know, and they was bringing people from across like the Philippines. That's why a lot of them quote unquote natives down there look kind of Asian, because the Spanish was bringing them folks here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another deep part. And I think a lot of people still talk about the hair aspect and everything.
Yeah, well, the hair aspect goes back as far as the pyramid. You know, that been going on. You know, and makeup for that matter. I
Right.
mean, so come on.
I think it's, you know, people like to look good. You know, it's self
Yeah,
builds to
yeah,
self-esteem. You know, I think I would want my people to have a higher self-esteem about
yeah.
this. A lot of us got low self-esteem.
Correct.
But there's also some of us gone too far. You think you meet somebody and then you meet them in person and they don't look nothing like what they told you they look like.
Catfishing. Catfishing.
Got these AI photos that don't
Well,
look like you.
it's a, you know,
Excuse me, I'm looking for this person right here.
you got to look at the conditioning of television and film for all those many years. All right.
She ain't looking like that in person, man.
One of the things about the silver screen and television, you know, the concept was larger than life. All right. So people emulated what they saw. So
Just like today.
they saw that, you know, whatever it was, you know, I remember what the hell was it? You know, these different shows where they show different families, right? Well, we didn't get into a family concept on television for a long time, right? So we had to imagine ourselves in families that were on television, right? So we behaved that way. So, you know, some of the aesthetic was trying to emulate that. And then I agree with Donnie that it got out of hand. That's all, you know.
Somebody
And yeah.
say,
But
At the end of the day,
the Spanish was a major influence.
who used to do weave for a living. That damn
Yep.
weave was everywhere. Weave was in the freezer. The weave was everywhere. One day I was walking
Right.
down the street. I had a long trail of weave. It affixed itself to my clothes. I know about weave. It take all night too.
to
It
do a
can be
weave.
all nighter. Just go to sleep. Watch a movie.
Yeah, that's a skill though. But they do, you know, they even with the weaves, you get the other cultures putting it in their hair too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a sister schooled me, said white women and Asian women wear more weaves than anybody. And I paid attention and I was like, wow, I see.
Yeah, I grew up with 5 sisters. My sisters told me white women wear wigs, and I didn't believe them until they told me.
Yes, it was weave in the freezer. Yes, on the ice. Try to get some damn Kool-Aid. Got ice all in the damn freezer. Hair weave all in the freezer.
And it's a tremendous business.
Yeah, that's my thing. Dude, that's my thing. The money. How much money we spend on it? Man, boycott that thing, watch the price drop.
Yeah, but you see that a lot of the women in India is told some religious stuff that they cutting their hair for religious purposes, and then they turn around and wash it and sell it over here to the women here. And where it come from, they thinking they giving it up to God or whatever. You know, it's a crazy cycle. But
And so check that out. One thing I've heard, you have heard it, black people don't stick together. Black people don't stick together. Who you just say was doing it? The Asians robbing each other, selling hair weave. The Indians selling it.
Yeah, they're getting it from their own.
They yanking their own people. So just know that every group of people has some type of piranhas and victims. Big dogs and little dogs, big fish and little fish. The big fish eat the little fish. That's what Donald Trump is all about, eating up the little fish.
Well, that's it in a nutshell. You know what I mean?
Let's get some of these comments. Black women wear wigs because they want long, straight hair. CSE, that spray paint ain't natural. Some trafficking situations take their hair also. So what about men and the alterations they make to look younger? Well, I'll be the first one to tell you, Kiba. I saw a dude that had a bald head, but he had a Beijing on a bald head. It was almost like he had a tattoo, and I was like, Negro, I hope it don't rain, because you could see he got a bald head, but it was like it was spray painted.
Yeah.
Or they got spray painted Beijing beards, and it's like.
This you talking about them guys that get the wigs, the glue on their head, and get it cut up like they got waves, man. These dudes go to you got brothers out here taking glue, putting on their head, putting.
It used to be the stocking cap with the new now. Okay.
It ain't just the sisters doing it; it's some brothers doing it now too.
Did he just say new now? The yellow can?
Yeah, yo.
New now.
Come on now. That used to be, heated up on the stove. You feel me? And then there was the hot comb thing, right?
Yeah.
I remember the hot comb.
My hair was so kinky,
I remember girls get that little mark right there. Like, why you get that? I burned my hair with the hot comb.
My hair was so kinky that putting the comb through it to brush your hair, your parents say, brush your hair before you go to school or whatever. That would be making me cry, yo. So, you know what I mean? So when I first saw the option from Bob Marley, there's an option where you don't have to comb your hair, I was down. I was immediate. I said, that's the one for me. That's the one for me.
I do realize and recognize that some people have like cancer and they have to wear wigs. I understand that. And I'm very empathetic to anybody with any kind of sickness that's doing this. This was a broader general conversation. This is no slight on anybody's well-being, what they have to do for them. Really, men have we really have no skin in the game whatsoever. We do get to choose where we want to be and where we don't want to be. And I tell you what, I don't like smelling weave all damn day. I know that much. Not all day, every day. Switch up.
What does it smell like?
Something not natural. That's it. It's nothing like the natural smell of a woman. You got all of this stuff, or the ones that just that's all they ever wear is just that. Evan, just the hell with your regular. Just no, I'm never wearing my. I don't know what women go through, and I know it's hard, and doing their hair every day is challenging. I do get the braids. I do get low maintenance. I do get the being allergic to water and swimming and water sports. I get it.
But then so let's bring it back home. A lot of indigenous cultures did use other things sort of like weave. So you have certain cultures that use the moss from the tree, and the women put that in their hair. So this is nothing new under the sun. Maybe they emulating. Maybe our women is emulating what their ancestors was doing, and they just got different materials. So I think it's we got to broaden our vision when we see things. It's not as simple as it seemed on the surface. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, well, they do this because of this. No,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I'll tell you a term that threw me. My daughter threw it on me. Let me tell you about her. She's 24. I told her at 16. She was a dreadlock up until 16. She was dreading braids, natural. 16, she started wearing weave. I said, well, if you don't wear it, you might as well sell it. And she corresponded with China, and next thing I know, she opened up a business selling hair.
Okay.
And she's done that for about 6-7 years. Done pretty well.
That's a good thing.
Big
You remember,
business.
we was
Big
boxed
business.
out of that business. You know, the black women was boxed out of the hair business for a while, especially here in Detroit. You know, they say Detroit, as far as hair, is the hair capital. We had like hair
Yeah.
fashion shows.
Right.
My only thing is, so here's my beef. You ever heard of, okay, who was the matriarch? Since we on here, who was the matriarch of black beauty industry? The black beauty industry. Who's the matriarch? The mother. Who is the mother of the black beauty industry? We're going to teach you something tonight. Come on with it. Who is the mother? There we go. There we go. No, it's not Madam C.J. Walker. Who put Madam C.J. Walker on? Come on, this is a history channel. Who put Madam C.J. Walker? Who was the mother of the black beauty industry? I'm telling you, it was not Madam C.J. Walker. I'm telling you, Madam C.J. Walker was not the first black woman millionaire. I'm telling you right here. This is the woman who mentored Madam C.J. Walker. And I get so excited. They never gave this woman her credit. They never gave her credit. Never, ever. It's Annie Turnbow Malone. Annie Turnbow Malone. Look up her story out of St. Louis. They got mad love for her in St. Louis. And she did something that Madam CJ was not about.
So what she do, Donnie? What she do? This is my first time.
Colleges. She taught black women how to do hair. She came up with her own product. Annie Turnbow Malone, baddest sister she's the matriarch of the black beauty industry. And she started these schools called Poro, P-O-R-O, Poro Beauty College. Poro Beauty College. This woman put black women to work. She created, she was like the mother, her thing was like a Avon, if you will. They would call them pyramid schemes today, but that's the type of organization she built. Now, I'm not saying it was pyramidic, but it was about growing your territory. So yeah, it has some of that same type thing. And Madam CJ came in under her, peeped the game, and then took it and left off and did her own thing. But Annie actually developed her own products. She was a beast. Annie Turnbow Malone. She put Madam C.J. Walker on. She had millions. Thing is, Annie married this rotten rotten melanated man who pimped her. He did some dirt to her, messed with her product. And that's the thing. When you're on your mission, the devil's always busy. But she was able to recuperate. But she was a blessing to many, 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 many people beyond St. Louis. So she put Madam CJ on. So that's who I pay homage to. This one right here, Annie Turnbow Malone, an outstanding example of science and business. The first straight from Africa slaves, Bozales, were taken to Puerto Rico. What are they rolling in the chat tonight?
Yeah.
Emma Silurian Slip, Emma Solutrian Soul Train, Emma Phoenician Phenomenon, Emma Jean, Us in Gen, Remember, Know, and Grow. DJ Z, I don't know how you keep all of that in your head. This is my first time hearing about her. Thanks. Please look up Annie Turnbow Malone. Annie Turnbow Malone. There you go. I've been waiting on you to come in. Where you been at? How you doing?
Peace, bro.
Hey, now.
All right, peace, Planet. Yeah, man.
Right.
I had to pull over, man. I had to make a decision. Was I was gonna take a nap, hop on here. So I'm gonna hop on here, then take a nap. How about that?
All right.
Annie Turnbow Malone, you ever heard of this sister of ours?
No, but she from St. Louis, man. She looked like my grandmother a little bit.
Hmm.
My Aunt Carrie stayed in St. Louis, and my Uncle Luther lived in Kansas City, Missouri.
I know St. Louis, much like Chicago and Baltimore, you got the fight there.
Oh, yeah.
In the first 3 decades of the 20th century, Annie Turnbow Malone founded and developed a large and prominent commercial and educational enterprise centered on cosmetics for melanated women, based in St. Louis, Missouri. She was born in 1869.
1869, wow. So Missouri put out a lot of people that knew how to do mixtures of chemicals, and like George Washington Carver and her.
Mm-hmm.
So, orphaned at a young age, Turnbow lived with older siblings and attended a public school in Metropolis. In 1896, she moved to live with her older married sister, Ada Moody, in Peoria. Turnbow attended high school there, taking a particular interest in chemistry. Shout out to the science, technology, engineering, and math people out there, the STEM people. However, due to frequent illness, she was forced to withdraw from classes. Now, again, this is 1896. While out of school, then you heard she's been frequently ill. Turnbow grew so fascinated with hair and hair care that she often practiced hairdressing with her sister. With expertise in both chemistry and hair care, Turnbow began to develop her own hair care products. Mind you, this is long before there was Afro Sheen or anything. At the time, many women used goose fat, heavy oils, soap, or bacon grease to straighten their curls. I'm going to say it again. At the time, many women used goose fat, heavy oils, soap, or bacon grease to straighten their curls, which damaged both the scalp and the hair. By the beginning of the 1900s, Turnbow moved with her older siblings to Lovejoy, now known as Brooklyn, Illinois. While experimenting with hair and different hair care products, she developed and manufactured her own line of non-damaging hair straighteners, special oils, and hair stimulant products for melanated women. She named her new product Wonderful Hair Grower. To promote her new product, Turnbow sold the Wonderful Hair Grower in bottles door to door. Her products and sales began to revolutionize hair care methods for African Americans. In 1902, Turnbow moved to a thriving St. Louis, settling in the Mill Creek community. She and 3 employees sold her hair care products door to door. As part of her marketing, she gave away free treatments to attract more customers. Due to the high demand for her product in St. Louis, Turnbow opened her first shop in 1902 at 2223 Market Street. She also launched a wide advertising campaign in the black press. Shout out to the black press. Held news conferences, toured many southern states, and recruited many women whom she trained to sell her products. You ain't never heard that about Madam C.J. Walker. One of her selling agents, Sarah Breedlove Davis, that's C.J. Walker, operated first in St. Louis. She later moved to Denver, Colorado, where she continued to sell Turnbow products. After a disagreement, Walker left the company. She allegedly took the original Poro formula and created her own brand of it. This is disputed. So that's why when people start mentioning Madam CJ, I got to tell them about Annie Turnbow, because Annie put her on. Now, I don't know what the fight was, but y'all can, hey, it's right there. After a disagreement, Walker left the company. She allegedly took the original Poro formula and created her own brand of it. This is disputed. This development was one of the reasons that Turnbow copyrighted her products under the name Poro, P-O-R-O, because of what she called fraudulent imitations and to discourage counterfeit versions. Author John Whitfield noted that this is a combination of the married name of Annie Pope she had married in 1902 and her sister Laura Roberts. Other sources have said it may have been derived from the word Mendi in the African language. Due to the growth of her business, and in 1910, Annie moved to a large facility And Boro College is the big thing I want you to know. She started college. She taught cosmetology and had a 500-seat auditorium. She built this thing from the ground up. It had a dining room, meeting rooms, a roof garden, dormitory, black woman, gymnasium, bakery, chapel, and Turnbull Malone. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
And that's like 40 years or less after the Civil War.
Yeah. Tell me what
You
happened.
feel me? You feel me?
Yeah, she a goat. Yeah, she a goat. No question, she a goat. So much of our history has been hidden from us, lied. That's why we got to do our own research. And we got to apply it to today.
That's the best way to do it, is applying it to today. You know what I'm saying? They did, you said the lard and fat, that's 123 years ago. It's like right now we progressive, you know, in a big scheme of things, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that we can do anything. We can create anything. Horace, come on, you take the floor. I'm talking too much.
No, man, I'm just observing, brother. You weren't talking too much. You just you know, talking about Annie Turnbull Malone. But you know, I was listening in before I actually got a chance to hop on, and I heard you brothers talking about the wigs that the sisters was wearing. Well, of course, that's been a thing, you know, from antiquity.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is that those wigs that they were using, you know, they weren't 6 ether hair. They was always 9 ether hair.
Okay.
So the 6 ether, you know, came about, you know, somewhere I guess toward the 19th, 20th century, when they was telling us that you know, that our hair wasn't good enough, so we needed our hair to be 6 ether. But yeah, because if you look at, you know, all of the paintings and statues, yeah, a lot of those queens and women had on wigs, but they were always 9 ether hair. So mind you, we the only people on the planet that have hair. Everybody else has fur.
That's deep. A lot of people might not get what you mean by the 6 ether and having hair and having fur. They probably won't get the correlation between that. Could you expand on that a little bit more?
Well, yeah, I mean the 9 ethers is the highest that you can go on the scale in the etheric realm.
Right.
And so it's
so that's the curl. The curl of the hair look like a number 9, right?
It looks like a number 9. And see, like if you were to take just say, you know, a white person's hair, Indian person's hair, horse mane, dog hair, you know, what have you, and put it in the bag and shake it up, you wouldn't know which one is which.
Mm.
But if you take that one drop of that 9 ether nap, oh, you're gonna be able to point it out automatically. Yeah, so I mean that's just the reality of it. But yeah, we don't, the people on the planet got hair, brothers and sisters.
So DJ Sweetness say peace, or it's hard.
Peace, DJ Sweetness. So I'm okay, just a little tired and hungry.
Yeah, what you got on the menu? That sounds something good. What you
oh well, man, I got me some chicken wings that I put in the air fryer, and some Brussels sprouts with carrots.
Have you ever tried fry bread?
Have
you ever had fry bread, like the Native American fry bread? Kind of like you have a taco, but it's like a flour base, a cornmeal based bread.
I don't think I've had that unless I'm thinking the Puerto Ricans, they got something, but I think that might be plantain bread. Yeah. But no, I never had that.
It's called it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
called fry bread. FRY bread.
Fried bread. Yeah, I was just in another part of Texas. They had fried pies.
Mm.
I'm like, what is a fried pie?
Yeah, I had one of them. Is it a turnover?
Yeah, they look like a big hot pocket or something like that, but they call fried pies, and they had different flavors. And I said I'm gonna give me one at some point. I just didn't have no taste for anything sweet at the moment. But yeah, fried pies, man. I'm gonna give me one of them, man.
All right. Did you check out that? Did you guys get a chance to check out the pictures I showed you about the mounds? Not that far from. Yeah, that's
man.
That's down there by Wetumpka. And that was a huge mound there. Yeah, Wetumpka, Alabama. If you go into Alabama, a lot of the cities still got the original names of the places they came. The people that lived there.
Don't put them up.
Oh, let me see if I can get it real quick.
You can't tease the audience like that. They want to see.
Yes, sir. Hold on, give me one second.
But I'm gonna tell you another place where
I don't know if you peeped it, but they got spaghetti and garlic bread waiting for you, brother.
Well, you know what, man? I might have to put the chicken to the side and grab some of that.
Yeah, the detour game.
Can you put Secrete? Can you put Secrete's number in the chat? We're supposed to be putting her in touch with Secrete.
Okay, well, I'll most definitely get that for you before it's over with. Yeah, but yeah, man. When you another place, man, that the pyramids are quite evident when you riding through there is Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas. Man,
it's insane. I mean, the thing about it is that they're everywhere. Which they literally can't be avoided, man. They everywhere, and I'm trying to figure out when they came over here and they synced all these things, but they bulldozed through a lot of them, paved on top of a lot of them. They got condominiums, shopping malls, you name it. But right there in Kansas City, Missouri, but like you were saying in Alabama too, they unavoidable in Alabama, man. Yeah.
It's like a lot of that land is trust land in Alabama, so that's why it's not really developed down there too much.
Trust land?
Yeah.
What you mean by that?
Meaning that is certain families own certain parts of it, and that is in trust, and that certain families in the future got it. You get what I mean? So it's a lot of trust land. Heirs property is what they call it down there.
Okay.
Well, the South got this thing. The Southern states got this thing called heirs property, in which the heirs got this property into perpetuity, meaning forever.
Right. Ever.
So if you or your family got land down there, you got heirs property lawyers in the South that you can contact and get part of your land back.
Well, it's crazy though, man, that they came over here, with that fake paperwork of theirs, and started making claims to a land that was already being claimed by the people, but the people understood that we weren't owners of the land; we were only stewards of the land, Khalifas.
Right.
And these people actually think that they own these lands, man.
Right.
And, it's impossible to own anything that belongs to Mother Nature. I don't care what it is.
Like Don, you're able to pull up that picture I sent you?
No, because I need an exact link. You probably got to put it in the chat.
Yes, sir.
I can't copy it. Doesn't allow. We got a fight going on, and somebody in there fighting.
What's going on?
I didn't catch the original comment, but somebody about to get pimp slapped.
It's your girl, DJ Sweet.
I hope they know what they're doing. I hope they know what they're doing. They about to get it.
They said all Mexicans are native. That's incorrect.
Yeah, that's false. They got a caste system down there.
Damn right.
Then the Spanish,
just like America, ain't it? Light bright, almost white.
No, it's worse than in America because they had it all diagrammed to if you was black and white and this kid mixed with an Indian, they call it a person. If that kid mixed with somebody, they call it a person. So they had like 20 different identifications for people. So that's not true what they're saying.
They inherited that from the Spanish.
Right.
Yeah, the word Mexican, Mex means mixed. I was just in Walmart down here in Texas, and I saw a Mexican lady. She looked just like the Asian, and that wasn't the first time that I saw that. You know, and the brother Malachi Z. York, his book, Let's Set the Record Straight. I had that book a long time ago. I traded it, you know, whatever. But when you read that book and get all the way deep into it, you can pretty much go out into society and tell, you know, who's mixed with what, or what the origins of people are just by looking at them.
That's
Well,
him sitting
this is
behind
for
you.
all my Mexican brothers. This is for all my Mexican brothers down there. Give you a little bit of history in case you didn't know. Because a lot of times we you know, folks try to, and that's what happened with my first video on Indigenous. There were people from Mexico who were saying them Olmec heads are not black, they Mexican. I'm like, son, you see the braids on the head. Do you see the braids?
Yeah, with tassels.
What's wrong with you, son? But this is the first black president of Mexico, Vicente Guerrero. Did y'all know that Mexico had a black president, Planet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I did.
And he offered the slaves, the enslaved here, to come there.
Matter of fact, Chief John Horse, who I write about in I Am Black Wall Street, the hero out of Florida, also known as Juan Cavallo, Gopher John, they went to Oklahoma, didn't like it, went through Texas, building black towns along the way with freed blacks. They were not enslaved, and they went to Mexico and became the border patrol for Mexico until the Civil War was over.
Yeah, they did a hell of a job in order to erase our history, but it's one thing that
Can't erase it.
You can't erase it, but you know it and those Olmec heads, those Olmecs went to Nigeria. Those are your current Nigerians.
Could they have been made here?
They were made here. I'm saying, oh, this is the land that's associated with Atlantis, which they call the land of the original grids used by the masters. Those Nigerians, they don't even know that they're Olmecs. They're not necessarily native to Nigeria. They're from over here, but they don't know it.
Wow.
And it's another thing that I thought about.
Wow.
And tell me what y'all think about this. So, you know, we know that where we at, Chicago, you know, St. Louis, Michigan, they call that the Midwest, right? Now, if you look overseas, there is no Middle East. So now, since everything was told in reverse, I believe that we are from the Middle East. Because all of the stories that they concocted over there originally came from over here. So I believe that since everything is backwards and upside down, that the Middle East is what they're actually called in the Midwest. Because if you trace all of the stories, they all apply to over here. They never really took place over there.
French Wee agrees with yours.
That one comment was comment about the Nez Perce tribe. I sent you a link to that mound that was down there as well. It's down by Fort Toulouse, Toulous. That's something that has to do with Louisiana down, if you hear that French word. But down in Alabama, that was a fort there, not to like 20 miles away from where my people live at. And it's a huge mound there that's there.
Now this comment right here, how can people be all mixed up and indigenous at the same time?
Yeah, that's the last comment. What was that last one?
You know, and according to, you know, my studies, the name Nigeria was named after the Belgium Lex Luke's I can't think of his name, but his wife said that it's a derivative of the word nigger area. You know, just like Cameroon is the Portuguese word for shrimp. So the people in Cameroon are calling themselves shrimp, no different from the people in Puerto Rico. They've dismissed their Borinqua, and then they named themselves Puerto Rico after a non-profit organization that's posing as government.
Faye's got an interesting story. We put the link in the chat. If you care to join us, care to come on and share your thoughts. Big Mom Baby been on a roll. Hate that you put wings in the air fryer. You know how we do it in the chat.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm on the road. I got to do what I got to do. You know, other than that, I probably would have went either Sharks or Harold's.
Yeah, Harold's got some good chicken gizzards and livers down there, don't they?
Yeah, they cool. A Big Mommy Baby from out west, so I would have went and got me some Uncle Remus.
Uncle Remus.
Oh yeah.
Boy, they are popping iron in this chat. It's jumping. Trying to keep up. I know, but if you ever need some, I got you. Okay, I get you.
Gratitude.
Faye use a cousin. The wings in the air fryer car. Okay.
Yeah.
Early California. Among the earliest non-indigenous residents of California were hundreds of people of African background who descended from slaves taken to Mexico during the 15th century. And 16th century. Rochellify. South Americans and Mexicans are all mixed up together with different ethnic. Very few are indigenous.
So does anybody think that there are any records that actually left that eradicate the confusion about what we're trying to put together? Because if there aren't any records that you know can be stated as factual because of the traditional word of mouth, you know, was lost throughout the ages, then I think that, you know, us going back so far as 8, 9, 10 generations or better, us being infinite, is probably one of the best sources that we could never be confused about. Afro-Latinos or people mixed African, Indigenous, and Spanish ancestry.
I think that's the comment when you was talking about how can you be mixed and indigenous.
Well, we've said that on the show. Remember our initial question, are we Moors, Hebrews, indigenous, and planet? Help me out. We have concluded that we are a mix of all three.
Well, I think that you know that it's a minor question related to the reaction to colonization.
Right. Yeah,
But you know we have to deal with it because of the way the society is set up. But it's all pretty stupid to me. I mean, well, shouldn't say that way. You know, they're you know, all this stuff like maps and borders, and you got to have a passport to go hit. You know, so what God created that?
Right.
You know, the ownership of all these resources and well, where seems to me that the planet Earth provided all the resources that there are. For who? For all the people that are here.
Right.
You got that right.
So a discussion is we're in the insane asylum, and we're talking to the patients.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I hear a lot of critiques about this president on, different television stations. My thing is the people who put him there are going to have to remove him.
But the people who put him there aren't the people who the people think they are.
Okay, well, they leave him there. He's gonna start something. He's gonna mess up something pretty bad.
Well, I mean, if you study the history of all of the presidents, you know, a lot of them, you know, were casting stones, even though they had plenty of sins. So, I mean, I don't consider him no different from anybody else. But there's one thing that I do understand or have recognized, that throughout the years he has always been allies, so to speak, to, you know, black people, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, et cetera, and he never was talked about in a poor manner until he became the president. Before then, all the rappers was rapping how they wanted to be like Trump. Donald
And
Trump.
some people still doing it. Some people, some of us, I listen to some of our references to Trump, and it's disturbing. It's almost like we buy into, yeah. And it's a certain ignorance, I think, Planet.
Well, it just brings me back to the scene in the movie Sinners where the homie went up into the person's house, all right? And the Indians came and went knocked on the door and said, no, we're not here to disturb you or anything. But that guy that went up in there, he's not who you think he is. And then his boys said, no, look, it's getting late. You know, the sun's going down. Let's split. But that was a very significant scene. A lot of these people are not who you think they are.
And, you know, also Planet Wells, when this is from my perspective, when we rely on colonizers, people who are on our land, be they Democratic, be they Republican, or otherwise, whether they're doing, you know, blatant bad things or whether they're doing blatant horrible things, nonetheless, it just says that we are a defeated people, because we're still looking towards these people to be the solution bearers.
Well, the only thing that is depleted is our prioritizing our connection with Source to be supreme over all of it.
True indeed.
And until we get back to that, we will constantly be confused.
True indeed. You know, like KRS One said in one of his songs, you know, Higher Level. He said you either, you know, vote for the mumps or the measles.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it.
You see?
So I want to put this out there to Night Crave. Night Crave, I'd like you to tell me where. It says more has different meanings, but keeping it simple, the so-called black, and I believe you're saying European, and Africans, aka colonizers, are not our family. They conspired against us.
True indeed.
Where is the evidence they conspired against us? I've heard it referenced many, many times, even on this show. Where is it? Where is it? Where can I find that information?
Those were your conquistadors for the most part. They were your Spaniards. When we talk about the Spanish, that's who they were. They just went under many different cloaks.
Yeah, Spanish was the Moors.
True indeed.
Yeah.
So see, there was a lot going on. One, the Moors were chased out of Spain, and I can't imagine if you didn't chase me out of your camp that I'm there helping.
Yeah, they was on shit with Columbus.
There was some. I imagine there was some who stuck around and maybe drank the Kool-Aid, and maybe that's who y'all talking about.
But see, think about it though. You say the Moors were chased out of West Spain.
Spain and Portugal. They dominated for 800 years.
So when they left Spain, they were Spanish. Those who the Spaniards were.
Yeah, and it happened the same time. They got expelled the same time Christopher Columbus discovered here, so-called.
Yeah, it happened right afterwards.
Yeah, no, at the same time. If you read the record, it was the same time. They was on the ship with them. Because they made I forgot what they called it, but they kicked everybody, every Jew and every Muslim out of Spain. And a lot of the Jews fled to Africa, and a lot of them was on the ship with him.
See, that's just like,
you understand why would somebody who is fleeing for their life be helping imprison somebody else? It just, you know,
you want like how would somebody be be in a house and you be in the field and tell on you? Same way, right?
Yeah. See another thing too, Donnie. You know, Hannibal is from Detroit. You from Baltimore. Planet is from New York. I'm from Chicago. So now we can go somewhere and say, oh man, he a Chicagoan, or he's a Detroit, or he's a Baltimorean. But guess what? We all still have that underlying title that supersedes any of those names. So it's no different from what the Spaniards were doing, or the Moors were doing from these different parts of Europe and Asia. Even though they came from them different places, when they be able to identify by those particular names, it throws you off from thinking Moors. But it's no different. We all the same, even though we from different parts of this land. So we start separating through titles, then that's where the confusion starts at. The colonizers, conquerors, yeah. Constitutions, consideration, yeah.
The haves and the have-nots.
That's right.
Check this comment. And we gave them our knowledge in Egypt when we were known as the Phoenicians, and they claimed it for their own. Night Crave, King Charles, King James, or so-called Moors royally betrayed us. We were allies, but never family.
So he getting into like the Stewards families. We talked about that before in prior episodes. You know, certain families got these certain Moors, and they black and white. You know what I mean? You had black people that was here that went against their own people and lined up with their white side, and vice versa.
Like them people y'all showed on the screen who turned their back on Dr. Martin Luther King. They knew the bullet was coming.
Well, you know what I never understood, if you watch the footage, when the FBI or CIA, whoever they were, came to arrest Marcus Garvey. Man, there had to be 100,000 people out there. Let two men come and arrest that one man. Nobody was willing to step up to the plate and hit somebody, man, with a straight jab. And like, man, y'all not taking this brother anywhere. So it was thousands of people out there when they came and arrested him, man. And that's power, man. When you had two men to go in and arrest somebody's leader amongst 100,000 people, if nobody sacrificed, if nobody did anything. So it's no different from the state that we in right now, man. You know, we have sellouts and some we don't.
What y'all think it is? B Queen say MLK was a cheater. He ran around on his wife. He took a bullet for black people. God,
yeah, he's still a man though. You know, just because
he took a bullet for you. You talking about he got something on the side? They was throwing it at him. They was throwing it at him everywhere he went.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't wholeheartedly his intentions.
He took a bullet. He died.
He's still a human being though. That's the thing. People be expecting, you know, infallibility.
Ass people.
Yeah, they be expecting people to be infallible just because they have these positions. I mean, think about it.
He took a
bullet.
Got
a government. We got a government right now that has murdered millions of people.
Yeah, and we talking about what 57 years ago, and you want to talk? Come on, you want to probably want to live. Whoever
Michael
made
R.
the king
Dyson
want
brought
to
that
hear.
thing out about Dr. King. And nothing sickened me more. Is that what we want to talk about after this man gave his life for us? Really?
Well, you know what?
That's
See,
between him and his wife. Mind your damn business.
Mind your business. Well, see, they killed Martin Luther King once he realized, because see, I was primarily against King, because I'm like, man, he got these people out here getting beat up and ain't nobody fighting back. You know, what the hell is this? But at the one of his very last speeches, remember, he was headed to Washington, D.C. to demand for reparations.
Yeah, the poverty.
Because he had found out that the government had been giving all of these Europeans all of this land, all of these grants for education, you know, teaching them how to, you know, to do agriculture, and that we were left out of that particular arena. And he like, man, hold on, man, this ain't right. And that's when they killed him before he made it to DC.
The government was on a mission back then in the 60s to get rid of all the black leaders, from Medgar to Malcolm to Martin. You know,
all of them.
Look, it was us in that front audience, and when Malcolm got killed too, one of the guys, he just passed away, right? He just admitted it not that long ago that he was part of it. You know, so
yeah, one of them get your hand out my pocket niggas.
Right, and that was it right there. You know, so I don't believe in tearing down those who did work for us. I think that's sorry for somebody that ain't did nothing to do that.
You damn right it is. And then what make it so bad, I could see if they said that he pulled a fast one on his people by doing something underhanded against, you know, what he was teaching. But hey, the man, you know, ain't did nothing but, you know, went and had a little, you know, little whop the bam. And so what?
Right, so what? Yeah, these comments is going crazy. It's all over. You know?
And I'm like you, Donnie. You know, y'all talking junk about him, but what have you done?
Yeah. Or what about the goddamn pedophile in the White House? These right-wing Christians. Even the black people. You voted for a pedophile? You voted for a pedophile. And we're even having a discussion.
Well, you vote for the mumps or the measles, because remember, the Biden administration, they were making it to where it's that little kids can identify with something other than what they were born as.
And
they were going to fund.
Go ahead.
No, they were talking about funding sex changes for Venezuelans and all.
Democrats ain't our friends, bruh. Democrats ain't our friends.
Nah, none of them are friends.
People don't like about Barack. He put LGBTQ above black people.
But see, that's what we have to do, the history, and go back.
Because we want to be everybody's goddamn friend except our own.
Yeah, we have
After that last election, let me say this. After that last election, black women said, don't ask us to support shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask us to support a damn thing. LGBTQ, any damn thing else, don't ask us to support it. Now, on the Democratic side, Biden set that woman up to fail. He sabotaged her. He sabotaged her because he took too damn long to get out the race. By the time he got out the race, her runway was very short. Remember, she was never elected. She was selected. She never went through the Democratic National Convention. They never voted on her. So you took an unproven weapon in the war. So the Democrats ain't our damn friends. In Maryland, in my city, 9-1 Democratic city, 2-1 Democratic state. I can say in my neighborhood, we got more money out of Republicans over the past 20 years. Under this black governor, we just started getting money for the black community. Neither one of them are our damn friends. One last thing. The blacks, they get involved in the Democratic politics to the extent that they would vote Democrat before they vote for black. The hell with them. That's where your sellouts are. They get in position and they are the biggest gatekeepers. Blacks in the Democratic Party. I thank you, and I approve this message.
But you know, we have to go back to the historical times when before they split into those two different names of the elephant and the donkey, when they were Whigamores, which the people are unfamiliar with that term for the most part. But when they were, that's what we see back in the days when they had the wigs on, like they still do over there in Africa.
The Tories and wigs, yeah.
Yeah, they were the Whigamores. So one party, you know, was aggressive and one was passive, but they both had the same agenda. You know, one to say, hey, you know, here's some delicious fruit punch, try this, without telling you that there's cyanide in it, and the other one to say, here, drink this poison. So right. These are the exact same people who we still dependent on our land to be anything other than what they're going to consistently be. And the black man in this land, who are the warriors, we talking Red Sticks, Comanches, Apaches, that the war that we fought, that we ended up somehow, I don't want to say losing, but, you know, you can't go and expect, you know, the people who create the problem to solve the problem, because they're not going to ever do it. I don't give a damn Democrat or Republican. They're never going to address our issues because it's not in their curriculum to address our issues. It's about their issues over here from Europe on our land.
Nightcray made a comment. The government assassinated MLK and Malcolm X once they started telling us we're indigenous to this land. That's
true,
correct.
Indeed.
MLK said in I Have a Dream speech, the second part, he said the Negro find himself exiled in his own land. What you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, he was on point.
Heard about that?
I think he was on point.
Yeah. But you know, they never teach that to us.
No.
You know, when you hear the word exiled in his own land, that's saying you're indigenous. You know, we're caught on to that. Negro and indigenous, you get it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I had came to the conclusion when Martin said that he had been to the mountaintop, that he was actually talking about one of the pyramids or the mounds that he had actually been on top of. And he said he might not get there with you, but that Million Matriarch March is coming.
Yes, you know, he said a lot of pivotal things in that thing. I think he was on to something. If you look back and you kind of reflect, it's not for the good on where we at as a society, but we're a little bit better off as a people than the 60s, I believe. You know,
in a sense. But you know, I know a lot of people, they voted for Obama because he was black. They was going to vote for Camilla because she was so-called black.
Right.
The hell with the policies.
Right. And that's what matters most, the policies.
But they you know, black people don't care about the policies. They just looking at, you know, that's just like Hillary Clinton. She was allegedly going to coerce the black voters with Beyonce tickets. See, they know that we are feeble people that can be easily influenced to go against the grain, you know, for something stupid. That's why Noble Drew Ali said that we gave up our birthrights just to gratify our lower selves.
Wow.
See, we go into the darkness that Planet Whales be talking about and eliminate their ego. Now there is no attachments to the illusions, what the Hindus call Maya. But see, we too attached to these illusions and thinking that they're real and thinking that we have ownership, you know, for things that are produced from the elements that Mother Nature produces. And then and this is their idealisms that they brought from over here, man. Doesn't have anything to do with us. We always knew better.
Right. It's like baffling the work that's happening. And we talked on several aspects of what has happened to us, and it gets deeper and deeper every day. But the good thing, we're not bamboozled by just them throwing up someone that looks like us anymore. You get what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna tell y'all a real story. Back during the campaign, I was invited to the White House. I've covered it about 60 times. Invited to cover a hip hop party for the vice president at her party, at her house. And I didn't go. I normally cover most everything they call me for, but I didn't cover it because I didn't become a journalist to cover a goddamn hip hop party. I want to cover Black business, public education, reversing mass incarceration, affordable housing, universal access to healthcare. Not be at a party. In retrospect, she was trying to borrow credibility. Many of us went to that party, but I chose not to go. Nor did I send anybody on my team there. Because you're going to have to do better than that if you want my damn vote. I tell you, when Hillary Clinton was running, she pulled out Jay-Z in her 11th hour. Love his music, but you can't pull him out to tell me to influence who I vote for. So Democrats got to get better at their game. They need to empower Black people, and we shouldn't accept anything less than. Hakeem Jeffries, I heard him say, his first priority is the safety of Israel. This is a congressman, a Black congressman that represents Brooklyn. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, son? Your first priority is to defend your people, the people who voted for you. But when you get that Jewish lobbying money, you got to do what they say.
That's right.
It's called APAC money. And if you don't, you get dealt with. So do we really want that? See, we were better off with the Black Wall Streets. Like in New York, they had Seneca Village right there in between 82nd and 89th, independent Black community. I heard someone say in the chat in another show how we can't, we're lazy, we don't do anything for ourselves. Every time we do for ourselves, we've been met with resistance.
Can I say something, Donnie?
Yes.
Well, and I'm a piggyback in order. Well, we're not lazy, we're exhausted. How about that? And the second thing is, I think that we get a little caught up in these politics as if they're real. The politics are no different from WWF.
Yeah.
So they enemies when the spotlight and the cameras are rolling, but after all of that is over with, they're freak parties at P. Diddy's or at Epstein's mansion. And us getting,
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, and us getting caught up in these politics and thinking that they're real is like shedding a tear when the what's that animal that just chasing after the road runner? The coyote. So imagine you sitting back watching the coyote chase after the road runner on a cartoon, and here you are crying. It's a damn cartoon. And that's what these people are parading around, because remember, they're not even on the land. They're still docked at the land. But everything that they do is illusional, but we think it's real and give them our consent. That's how they're able to get away with the buffoonery that they do. But man, the politics ain't real, man. And they put in there who they want to put in there. They groom them. And those votes that they, gather from the people are no more than surveys.
You can't lock up Black people and come out and run for office and think you're going to win votes. You got to clean that up. So if you've been a district attorney, you got to do some mayoral stuff or some gubernatorial stuff. You can't go from locking up Black people to getting the vote of Black people across the country, because America is the mass incarcerated. It is the most mass incarcerating system on earth. You can't work for that system and expect Black people to love you. You can't. Even if you did good, you can't. It's your job to lock up people.
Yeah, but those incarcerations are for financial purposes only. You know, that's just like the devil sitting in a lake of fire and gonna prosecute you for striking a match. You see, it's all about money, man. All crimes are commercial. So they could care less, whether, a person is right or wrong, whether he's good or evil, because we're dealing with criminals and drunks and murderers. They sit in these seats high and mighty as if they're righteous, infallible, and impeccable angels on the land when they're not. They're bigger than the devils that we, man, like how Bobby was saying about George Bush. Boy, he make the devil look like Mickey Mouse. But we still caught up in the illusions, man, and we think this stuff is real. It's not, man.
So somebody put up a comment about we all come from Africa. Just look at the movie Roots. Alex Haley was a plagiarist. He stole the story. It's not even his damn story. He
Somebody
hijacked
actually put that in the comment.
telling us a damn lie.
Somebody put that in the comment, Donnie?
Yeah.
And you ought to have one of them buttons. When the jokes, when they tell the jokes, you hear
Don't.
There you go, right there. There you go.
Maybe they was
Black
joking.
African come from Africa. Look at the movie Roots. That's Black history. You better go look up Alex Haley and his plagiarism and where he stole that story from. A Jewish man.
Yeah, Harry Corlander.
I think that person must just not saw Roots. They didn't see it back in the 70s. They must have ordered that Roots volume off of, they had the infomercial where they had the Roots package, and then you get a special, a gift, with a whip or something like that. Order right now because they're running out. That may be a troll account, huh?
All right, gentlemen. Look like we didn't covered a lot of ground tonight. It's a ton of comments. God, matter of fact, I might just copy these. That way I can process them later. There's got to be 1,000 of them in there. Let's get on with it, Planet.
Okay.
Planet, I think it was last night. I was like, you know what? Should I cut the television on? Because I know I'm only going to see it for about 5 minutes. I said, you know what? I'm going to take Planet's advice and just be quiet and go to sleep. I do be quiet sometimes.
Sometimes that's the best medicine.
And I'm gonna give you an excellent method that I figured out, and it works for everybody who I tell it to. Whenever you get up in the middle of the night, do not look at your alarm clock.
Right. That's right.
If you got to go use the bathroom, go use the bathroom, and do not look at the alarm clock. You'll go right back to sleep. You look at the alarm clock, you're not going to sleep, man, because you're going to be like, damn, I ain't got number 4 hours left. I got to get up. Don't look at that alarm clock, man.
I say drink some ginger, some lemon, and some honey. You can look at the alarm clock and go right back to sleep. I drink coffee and go to sleep on it when I drink coffee.
They say that works. I've heard that.
It's what you tell yourself. You tell yourself you can, you can. You tell yourself you can't, you can't. You do anything you put your mind to. At least Trump is doing something. Yeah, about to get us in a world war. Now hey, look, hey, neither one of them no damn good, but and let's not forget Barack Obama killed Gaddafi. Benghazi. Black man wanted to give Farrakhan them $1 billion. Then he tried to take the LGBTQ thing to Africa. They told him kick rocks.
Yeah, because
that's what the Democratic Party does. It tries to control our thinking. I got a problem with that.
There were no homeless people in Gaddafi. Education is free. Medical assistance is free. Even surgeries, man, they will fly you out free if they couldn't provide medical care for you there in Libya. And also the residents of Libya were receiving an annual deposits into their accounts based on the natural resources that were being produced by Libya. But see, they killed him because he was wiping out the banking system based on the natural resources in Africa.
The nature of the political system is to support white supremacy and racism. The nature of it, right? So whatever you look at in that system, that's the nature of it. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't good people here and there in that system trying to deal with that scene as best they can. But the root of that system is to support the overall system, right? So if you really want to affect change, you either work through the cracks of that system and you elevate your people independent so they can get off of that, right? And the best way to do that is to access land so that you can grow your own food, you know, create your own schools or whatever. But, you know, people think that, well, we'll get the right person in and that person will change the system. Good luck on that one.
Yeah. I was listening to Farrakhan one time, and what he was talking about Obama sitting in that seat in the Oval Office, and say, man, you can feel the energy in that chair. You know, we talking generations all the way back, what, 400 or 500 years, man? Evil that those people have done from that place, man. The wickedness. It's unsurmountable.
Yeah, set up that way. You know. So, you know, the brave people that are trying to infiltrate that system and do the best moves they can, you know, more power to them. But the core of the system is to extend the white supremacist system and race. You know, Neely Fuller talks about it very succinctly. That's what it is. You know, but to rise above any of that, one is going to have to go to the bottom line, which is always going to be consciousness. Always. It'll end up there.
Let me ask you a question, Planet Wells. When you got termites, you know, or roaches, how do you get rid of them in their entirety when they're in the foundation of the home?
Well, either you got to take the home down, or you tent the home. You know, of course, some, you know, I'm talking about, like, let's say, for instance, wherever, but I'm just saying in terms of Hawaii, when someone has like major infestation or whatever, what you do is you hire these people and they come literally tent the property, and then they put a gas in it that takes out all the, you know, whatever, rodents, roaches, creepy crawlers, or whatever.
So that's pretty much uprooting the entire infrastructure, so to speak.
Correct.
For the 65-year-old out there that was talking about roots, make sure you check out The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith, because that's all Roots was. Some more of this same BS.
And it's the same
it's okay
hookup.
to be hey, look, to the 65-year-old, it's okay to learn some new stuff. It's okay. It's okay.
Correct.
But so much of what they told us was a lie. And you know it was a lie. Because you like the Indians and the Cowboy and Indian movie your whole life. You wanted to see the Indians whoop that ass.
Shout out to the
secretly
brother.
celebrated when it happened. You're like, oh, can I applaud for the Indians? Yeah.
Shout out to the brother who did the second Birth of a Nation.
Oh yeah.
You know, even though it was a lot of, you know, melodramatic dramatic scenes up until the last 3 minutes of rebellion. You know, it should have been a little bit more rebellion, but that would have incited the spirit in the people. So they had to, you know, show all of the, you know, the soft, you know, dandelions and petunias and all this other stuff. And at the last couple of minutes, they showed the Nat Turner Rebellion, which only lasted about 2 minutes in the movie, and the movie was 2 hours. But I understood his premise, and then, you know, they wouldn't even give him funding to do that movie, man.
Of course not. Trying to get his name for you.
I added the book in the chat, Donnie, where you can find that book that Alex Haley plagiarized. It's called The African by Harry Corlander.
And in the comment, Big L2 Go said that you need a nationality. Well, nationality is something that was brought over here from Europe too. That's dealing with paperwork.
And people always say, go back to your country. Go back to Europe, damn it. This ain't your country. Tell somebody else to go back. This ain't yours.
You got that right.
You'll tell somebody, go back to your country. Go back to your damn country. Mother. I almost got his name. What's that guy's name? 2016. Nate Parker.
Nate Parker. That's it.
Forgive me.
Yeah,
and
but
he was playing Nat Turner in that movie, correct?
Yeah, and they show how they had Nat Turner going around to the different plantations where the prisoners of war were, and they were using him to preach the gospel of the Bible to, you know, soften up the people so they wouldn't rebel against the Caucasoids who had them in captivity. But like I said to this brother here, so much you need a nationality, that's dealing with paperwork, man. You need a nationality. That's not our thing. We don't need a nationality. We are tribesmen.
Come on, Planet. Let's do it.
Are we ready? Okay. Let's take our breaths. All right, let's take two breaths and hold it for 5. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So once again, I'm going to repeat the wise words of the musician Sun Ra. You came from nowhere here, so why can't you go somewhere there?
That's powerful, there, brother. I say. Hey, you know, planet
Mm.
down to the, as it gets softer and softer
Uh-huh.
as it go. Well, I was thinking to myself, it's softer in this dimension, but in the other dimension, it's still loud.
Mm. Mm. Well, it's like what they say about a flashlight. If you turn on a flashlight and point at a star or whatever, and then you turn off the flashlight, the light is still going. You know? So
I'm
it's
have to
like
try
that,
that.
you know. But it's just a resonance with that stillness of being that you are. And the phrase from Sun Ra talking about you came from nowhere here, like no one really knows where they came from. They came from that void, that infinite possibility, right? And so why can't you go there when you connect with your true self, right? And that's the cauldron of, for lack of a better word, the magic that we need to overcome the situation that our people find themselves in.
But
Right?
about the statement that we don't know where we come from, I think we forgot,
Yeah,
because I truly believe that there was a time when we really did know,
absolutely.
on the most intricate level. Because if you look at the pyramids in Egypt, well, the king's chamber, and where the king's bed is located in the chamber, and then you have that chute that goes out in the pyramid, and right above that is the star system. I truly believe that he was able to travel from this dimension through that chute up to that star system and connect with his place of origin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they left that behind for us to realize that at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that one of the things that I've been thinking about is I've been thinking about, because I'm into the natural as opposed to the artificial. And what I'm looking at now is the current culture. And I think it's a global culture, at least how I'm looking at it, is the acceptance of lying is just like a human trait. I'm not so sure about that. I think lying is an artificial behavior, right? That has very negative ramifications even in a single, human being, right? But we accept it as, well, some people lie, some people, we just accept that that's a truth. And even though, we find ourselves, we all say this and that, da da da, I understand all of that. But the acceptance that lying is something that is human, I'm questioning that.
That's deep.
But we get in these patterns and we think, you know what I mean? It's like, who really taught you about life and what life is?
Indeed.
Real, who really, you know, because in other words, when we were more embracing, our what I believe our indigenous nature, right? And this is for the whole globe, is we had a certain reverence for the land and nature. And nature doesn't lie. Right? So, you know what I mean? So like in other words, like, Hannibal's dogs or Donnie's dog, they don't lie to you. They're very upfront, you know. It's just this human thing that has accepted lie is an option. But I think, you know what I mean? And I think, some of that comes from that saying, he speaks with forked tongue.
Right.
That whole principle of lying, in many respects, I think was kind of new, and they weren't prepared for that. Right? And I'm talking about indigenous people globally, they just weren't prepared for that, and one of the things that the political system really shows, right, is how much it's intrinsic with lying. It's basically, your popularity is who can lie the most. It's a deep scene, you know. But when you do this little, uh, take up this invitation to silence, you get to stop and think, you know what I mean? Just like, maybe I can stop, getting out of this pattern of thinking that this is what life is. You may have to redefine what life is for yourself and take that into your contemplation of, you know what I mean? As opposed to what you might read in the book or what you might, whatever. Just be still and ask yourself, that. And at the end of the day, if you can, review certain events that happened during the day. You see? And hold yourself to your new standard in going into 2026. So you're not constantly operating automatically. You're actually bringing consciousness and awareness to what you're doing, right? Just a thought.
Now I wanna read something to y'all. This comes from at Self Mastery Hub, and it says, according to society, life or luxury is cars, expensive clothes, and a lavish lifestyle. But the real luxuries are slow mornings, the freedom to choose, a good night's sleep, a peace of mind, calm and boring days, being present, people you love, people who love you back. These are not things to be acquired, but rather the result of a purposeful and fulfilling existence.
Well said.
Well said.
So you think you can get to them libations right there, Horace?
Sure, brother, sure.
We'll wrap them up for the night.
Okay. I want to start out giving honors to Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the great Queen Nitha of Chicago, Illinois, the most honorable Empress Vidayasi, the most honorable Empress Chief Redbird, Chief Warhorse, the Honorable Kimba Vita of the Congo, Dr. Francis C. Welsing, Dr. Arikana, Sister Shahrazad Ali, the late great Ashada Shakur, Angela Davis, Mama T, Sister Vicky Dillard, Sister Myra, Dr. Joy DeGrew, the Sister LaChris, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Sonia Massey, Queen Valahara, Renita L. Hare Bay, Secrete Balance, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm Malik Al Shabazz, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Dr. Delbert Blair, the Honorable Taj Tariq Bey and Dr. G, the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson, Sun Ra, Mayor Harold Washington, Michael Jackson, Patrice Lumumba, Professor Palo Lumumba, C. Freeman L., Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, the Most Honorable Dr. Malachi Z. York, Amalia Shatila, my right-hand man, Julius Malema of South Africa, my right-hand man, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, and my right-hand man, General Barbecue of Haiti, the beloved brother Bobby Hemmett, the Honorable Dr. Reverend Phil Valentine, Nellie Fuller, Fred Hampton, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Clarence 13X, Anthony T. Browder, Professor James Small, Dr. Booker T. Coleman, Rod Hayes, Young Elder, Steve Coakley, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, Dan Calloway, Karimio Ahua, Rizza Islam, Legendary Top Cats, Taylor House Publishing, Dr. Sebi, Leila Ha'o Africa, Yaki Awakening, King Randall, Rashad Jamal. The Honorable Donnie Glover for providing us with this platform for us to reach our people. The Honorable Planet Wells for providing us with healing during these troublesome times. The beloved and honorable brother Hannibal James for his professionalism on genealogy. The young, wise, and intelligent brother Mafia Shakur, and all of our viewers who are 100% on our team in this monumental and indigenous movement here on Turtle Island without any questions asked. Ashe.
Horace Lee the Fourth.
Horace Lee the Fourth.
Gratitude, brothers.
Y'all, peace out, y'all. Tune into our next show coming up here this Tuesday night. And we have something special for you guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.